Hi, and welcome to another episode of AWS SheBuilds Tech Skills in North America. My name is Tamara Gagliardi. I'm a Senior Solutions Architect, and I'll be your host for today. At AWS SheBuilds Tech Skills, we look to bring together episodes where we highlight stories from our female leaders. We bring also information about new technologies so that it helps you in your career development and your journey through the cloud. Today, I'm excited that I'm joined by two of our customer solutions managers. We'll be talking about generative AI specifically in financial services. So I would love it, Padma and Cecilia, if you can both introduce yourself. Welcome to the show. So happy and excited to have you. Maybe Padma, if you can introduce yourself, tell us a little about your role at AWS, and go ahead.
Thanks, Tamara. Padma Iyer. I'm a Senior Customer Solutions Manager at AWS, and I support ISV FinTech customers at AWS. As an AWS Customer Solutions Manager, I act as a trusted advisor, guiding our customers on their cloud journey with AWS. A big part of my role, we collaborate across AWS teams to ensure clients get the most out of the AWS services, translating business goals into actionable plans for success.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Padma. And Cecilia, also happy to have you on board. You can also introduce yourself and maybe add a little more color about the CSM role.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm Cecilia Tang, a Senior Customer Solutions Manager, CSM at Amazon Web Services since 2020. I had 20 years of experience across multiple industry. My specialties focus on defining cloud strategy, developing and executing organizational cloud transformation, especially in artificial intelligence and machine learning. Prior to AWS, I was leading multiple teams of architects, consultants, and analytics globally, and delivering innovative solutions to enterprise. Since I joined AWS, I had to support multiple industry. Now I'm supporting financial services, focused on global data provider. CSM is a trusted advisor, as Padma mentioned, helping guide AWS customer along their multi-year journey to the cloud. CSM translate customer strategic initiatives into executable actions, working backwards from our customers' milestones. For example, CSM took end-to-end ownership of multiple migration projects, leverage program management, technical, organizational, and transformation expertise to drive customers' business outcomes.
Thank you very much, Cecilia, for diving deeper into the role of a CSM. And I'm super excited today to be diving deeper into generative AI with both of you. That's a topic that is top of mind for all of our customers. We thought also to curate today specific use cases and provide examples and insights on how financial services customers are leveraging generative AI, since it's the expertise and type of customers that you both support. For those that are new in the space of generative AI, in a very simplistic form, it's a way to leverage technology to create new content, such as, for example, images or text, music, and other forms of content, by learning patterns from already existing data. So at AWS, we also curated a space where we share blogs, we share information, use cases from our customers. There's also learning paths. I'll be sharing with you the link here and also including it below. So if you're curious about how to leverage AWS services and latest news and trends on generative AI, you can do so by visiting aws.amazon.com/AI/generative-AI. And with that, given that we have two of our experts in the area today, Padma, I wanted to understand better what are the trends that you're seeing in financial services when it comes to generative AI. What are customers looking to build, and how are they looking to leverage generative AI?
Thanks, Tamara. The financial services industry in particular is undergoing a revolution driven by generative AI. As part of today's session, we'll explore how Gen AI is transforming the way we work, whether it's customer experience or business operations. Generative AI, powered by Amazon Bedrock, can supercharge our businesses. It can help personalize customer experience, boost employee productivity by automating tasks, and spark creativity with content generation. Imagine AI writing reports, summarizing data, and crafting targeted marketing messages, all while improving security and compliance. This translates to smoother operations and competitive edge.
Thank you very much, Padma. And now that we understand the overall generative AI landscapes, customers at the core truly want to drive innovation. They want to provide better tools and experiences to their users. Can you also walk us through what you're seeing in the space? How can we leverage generative AI to improve both internal and external customer experience?
Yes, generative AI has potential to revolutionize not just external customer experience in financial services industries, but also improve and boost internal customer experience. We can dive into how AI can empower both internal employees for both retail and institutional customers. Generative AI can boost internal efficiency. Imagine employees having access to a powerful search engine that summarizes information and answers questions across various internal sources like incident reports, chat logs, wikis, Confluence pages, CRM tools, Slack channels. This not only saves time, but ensures everyone has access to the latest information. Furthermore, AI-powered chatbots can assist contact centers by handling routine inquiries, freeing up human agents for more complex issues. By leveraging a repository of past customer transactions, these chatbots can provide accurate and relevant information. Finally, generative AI can be used to streamline the creation of internal knowledge articles. By analyzing disparate sources, the AI can synthesize valuable and domain-specific content, making it readily available to all employees. Recently, at a large BNPL fintech customer, buy now, pay later fintech customer, was experiencing a surge in calls due to a new rewards program that they launched. Many callers had simple questions about eligibility or point balances. The solution that the AWS team deployed for the buy now, pay later fintech company was leveraging generative AI, specifically a large language model, LLM, built on Amazon Bedrock to create an interactive voice response system. The LLM analyzed past call transcripts and FAQs to understand the types of questions typically asked about the rewards program. The LLM then generated natural language prompts and responses for the IVR system. The callers could ask questions in their own words, and then the LLM recognized the intent, providing accurate information. For common questions about eligibility, balance points, program details, the LLM could directly provide answers within the IVR, deflecting the calls from live agent. If the customer's or the caller's question was more complex or required further explanation, the LLM was able to intelligently route the call to a qualified agent with relevant information, pre-populated with improved efficiency. From a benefit standpoint, the experienced reduced call volume by deflecting simple inquiries. Agents were freed up to handle more complex issues, thereby improving their overall customer satisfaction. Not only did it improve external customer satisfaction, it also improved efficiency. Since the IVR experience was streamlined, it reduced call handling time and improved operational cost. This is just one example, and generative AI with Amazon Bedrock can be adapted to various call deflection scenarios in financial services.
That's a great example, Padma, and it's always useful to see specific examples of how our customers are leveraging the services, what are their business pain points that they're looking to address. I know that you mentioned Amazon Bedrock. For those that are not familiar with AWS services, Amazon Bedrock is one of our services within the generative AI space. It's a fully managed service that offers the choice of high-performing foundation models. So you're able to leverage the foundation models from leading AI companies such as AI21 Labs, Anthropic, Cohere, Meta, Stability AI, Amazon, and a number of others. You're able to access them through a single API along with a broad set of other capabilities that you can leverage to build your generative AI applications. Using Amazon Bedrock, you can also experiment and evaluate the top foundation models for your specific use case. You can privately customize them using your own data and using techniques that we've seen other customers leverage, such as fine-tuning and retrieval augmented generation. Again, for those that it's the first time hearing about fine-tuning, it's like adjusting a radio to get the best signal. That's a quick metaphor. It's easy to understand. But in machine learning, it means tweaking pre-trained models to get a better and more specific task or data sets. And it's giving the model that little extra training so that it's able to perform the task that you want really, really well. And RAG or retrieval augmented generation, you can consider this like having a library of information at your fingertips while you're trying to write an essay. Back in the day, you would need to go to the library, pull out the book, read the book, and then try to build that essay. So in AI, where the model combines generating new text with fetching relevant information from a database or a data source to make the output more accurate and useful. So thank you again, Padma, for walking us through those use cases. I myself, when I talk to customers, they're always asking, like, what are other customers also building? And one example that comes to mind that recently I watched, there's a video I'll share, is that of the New York Exchange, that it's the largest capital market in the world. They process billions of transactions, and they also use AWS generative AI services to address productivity challenges that we're seeing. And they looked to address some of those manual processes and use AWS services to automate and augment the capability. So for example, they build trading rules document intelligent chatbot so that anybody could ask questions about trading rules. These are usually pretty complex type of documents. They looked at 20,000 pages of rules and made it accessible and user-friendly. I'll be sharing with you the link so that you can access it if you're intrigued about the story, and we'll also share the link below if you want to watch the video and learn more about that use case. And with that too, I know that there's a number of other use cases that we're seeing specifically in financial services. So maybe can we jump into understanding within generative AI, what are other use cases that are specifically targeting the workers?
Thanks, Tamara. Absolutely. There is a broad application of Gen AI with Amazon Bedrock to improve the efficiency of internal employees and workers. At one of the wealth management firms, Amazon Bedrock was used for creating drafts of investment research, loan documentation, and other financial services materials. The AWS customer, which was a wealth management firm, spent a significant amount of time creating investment research reports and loan documentation for their clients. That process was repetitive, time-consuming, and limited the time the advisors could devote to client interaction and strategic analysis. The firm implemented Gen AI, powered by Amazon Bedrock, to automate the draft generation of these documents. Gen AI integrated with the firm's internal data sources that included market data, client profiles, portfolio information, and external research platforms. The financial experts collaborated with AWS's Gen AI developers to create templates for different document types, such as the equity research report, mortgage loan agreement, and many more. These templates define the structure and key information required for each document. When an advisor needs to create a new document, they input relevant details, example, client information, investment recommendation, loan terms, etc. Gen AI then leveraged its knowledge of financial markets, regulations, and the firm's internal data to populate the template with factual content, standardized wording, basic analysis. This enabled and improved the human review. The advisor reviews the AI generated draft, refines the analysis, adds their own insights and commentary, and tailors the document to the specific client needs. All in all, this use case benefited the efficiency of the firm's employees and also freed up time for higher value activities like client communication and strategic planning.
Thank you, Padma. Again, another great example on how to leverage this technology, improve efficiencies and overall results. With that, I would like to maybe jump to looking at ways that our customers are innovating. We talked earlier how we're looking to help them with business operations, innovation. Maybe Cecilia, if you can walk us through some of the use cases that you are seeing in that space.
Of course. Financial institutions have seen huge potential through generative AI on product innovation and market surveillance. They are developing new tools for end user, including wealth management, brokerage advisors, and investment analysts. They summarize new themes and surface new investment opportunities and risk. For example, investment analysis to help research investment strategies, using large data sets to create charts and visuals. To build a differentiated investment strategy, they spend significant time writing code to visualize aggregation that pulls from large data sets. With generative AI, investment analysis can efficiently stress test the hypothesis, create data visualizations, synthesize findings, and share research, such as investigating the impact of Federal Reserve policies on commodity price. Unstructured data, on the other hand, can be difficult or inefficient to access and interpret. But having a data strategy running on AWS and using large language model in Amazon Bedrock, financial institutions can create products or solutions built on top of on-demand structured data from large unstructured data source, such as emails, document repositories, and filings. For example, financial institutions reduce time that their financial crime investigators spend on manual tasks, such as summarizing low-value information for documenting evidence. It can expedite decision-making with topology description interpreted from evidence models. In addition, it can utilize unstructured data that might be critical for suspicion decision. Later, we will walk through a demo about market researcher generative AI assistant.
Thank you, Cecilia. I'm looking forward to that demo as well. But before we jump into that, and now that we have enough context on what are some of the use cases and what we're seeing customers in the space, how they're leveraging generative AI, what are some of the considerations customers should have when looking at building their generative AI application?
Happy to share a couple key points here. It's worth noting that there are a number of key considerations when applying machine learning, especially for financial institutions. On the security side, this would be things like creating and ensuring an isolated data science or machine learning environment. It also covers authorization, which making sure that only appropriate people have access to the data and the resource that they need, which we also call the minimal privilege access. Financial institutions also address data protection, how to encrypt the data both at rest and in transit. With model governance, including tracking the data and model lineage, what training, testing, and validation data sets was used for a particular model, so that you will be able to recreate the model and the model in output for the regulator when they ask you about it 18 months from now. It's also talk about model explainability. How did a model come to a certain conclusion? What was the feature used to generate that output? Another key consideration is model monitor. Once a model is deployed to production, you want to monitor it for any type of data drift or model drift and make sure it will performing as expected. AWS is architected for secure cloud computing, enabling compliance with data privacy and regulatory requirements. Amazon Bedrock supports enterprise-grade security and privacy. It can be used in compliance with standards like GDPR. We are empowering financial institutions to utilize the large language model securely with Bedrock and within their private clouds, helping safeguard customer and financial data to meet the existing security and compliance requirements. At last, I do want to emphasize that AWS has a number of assets, including a white paper, reference architecture, best practice that we can share around the security and the governance aspects of machine learning.
Excellent. Thank you, Cecilia. And again, I'll share in terms of the white papers. If you want to go to the generative AI space, you'll be able to find those white papers that Cecilia just mentioned there. With that too, what are the paths you're seeing customers take when they're looking to kickstart, Cecilia, those generative AI applications?
Of course, generative AI path to production, which is referring as Gen AI P2P, is based on a lightweight version of Cloud Adoption Framework for generative AI. Cloud Adoption Framework, which is a prescriptive guidance based on AWS experience and best practice, identifies specific organizational capabilities that underpin successful cloud transformations. Generative AI adoption can be captured as 4 phases. First, are possible, where our customers start exploring the potentials with generative AI. And then they identify potential applications with a business context in order of importance or potential impact, which we call this phase business use case discovery and prioritization. Next, prototyping or proof of concept, where customer will proceed an incremental nimble proof of concept for feasibility testing and gain stakeholders buy-in. Last, deployment to production, which customer will take a tested prototyping and integrate it into their potential system or product or business process. AWS is at every step of this Gen AI innovation journey with our customer. We have proven mechanisms in each phase to accelerate the innovation pace and drive alignment.
Thank you, Cecilia. And to complement this framework that you mentioned and the different steps, we also have a number of different programs and resources to help AWS customers get started with generative AI. Maybe Padma, if you can walk us through some of those programs that we offer to our customers.
Yes, Tamara. So there are a number of generative AI programs and resources available at AWS. Some that I'd like to share are the Generative AI Innovation Session. It's a 2-day event led by AWS experts to enable customers understand their generative AI journey, and it seeks to gain executive alignment and generate a draft solution. Experience-based accelerator is one of the most extensively used programs and resources at AWS. It's as the name suggests, it's a hands-on, agile, immersive interaction with our customers in conjunction with an army of AWS experts. The EBA empowers customer teams to deliver innovation with increased agility by helping them build machine learning models and generative AI capabilities that can address important business use cases. The framework allows customers to implement best practices into their business operations and get full support from AWS experts needed to deliver results rapidly and more efficiently. The Gen AI incubator is a team of AI ML experts that help our customers in brainstorming and identify and leverage Gen AI solutions with advanced AI ML technologies such as Amazon Bedrock and SageMaker.
Thank you, Padma. And I know, Cecilia, earlier on, you mentioned we have a demo to share with our audience. I'm super excited about that. Maybe while I get that ready to share on the screen, you can give us a preview on what we're about to see.
Of course, we're about to show a conversational research assistance demo, which will allow you to ask questions in natural language, eliminating the need for complex SQL queries.
Excellent. Let me pop it up and we'll give it a go.
Great. In this case, a market researcher prompted a question in natural language about the customer's education level in percentage enrolling for certificate deposit. The market researcher does not need any type of query language skills. With 20 seconds, the results is aggregated and pulled. Behind the scene, a SQL query was generated by generative AI and pulled the results from database and the data source. Of course, the query result returning from data source is incomprehensible. The results are passed to large language model to generate a natural language answer. The second question prompt was the most successful campaign outcome by job type. Without any effort of writing a query, natural language processing and generative AI models, such as large language models from Amazon Bedrock, to identify relevant data source, generate SQL queries, and provide a coherent response with embedded results. This market research assistant utilizes a modern data architecture and generative AI capability to empower an organization's market research effort.
Thank you, Cecilia. Back in the day, we would need to spend hours trying to craft that SQL query, and it limited to only a number of users that would know how to write that. Now this opens up the spectrum to a new number of different personas, as well as you mentioned, it knows which data sources to access. I believe you also have to share with us the architecture. As a solutions architect, I'm super intrigued about how this was built. What are the components behind the scene? So can you walk us through that as well?
Sure. Let's take a look at the workflow behind the scene. The architecture uses multiple database and large language models with foundation models from Amazon Bedrock for data source identification, SQL generation, and test generation with results. A business user provides a natural language question pump. A AWS Glue crawler is scheduled to run at frequent intervals to extract metadata from database and create table definitions in the Amazon Glue data catalog. The data catalog is input to the chain sequence. LongChain, a tool to work with large language models and pumps, is used in a Python application running on Amazon ECS. LongChain requires a large language model to be defined. As part of the chain sequence, the pump and the data catalog metadata are passed to the large language model hosted on Amazon Bedrock to identify the relevant database and table using LongChain. Then the pump and identify the database and tables are passed to a second chain sequence. LongChain establish a connection to the database and run the SQL query to get the results. After that, the results are passed to large language model to generate a natural language answer with the data. At last, the user receives a natural language answer to their prompt, querying data from different database. This is just one of many examples of generative AI use case that many customers have leveraged AWS generative AI services to build.
It's great to see all the components and how they play a role. With that, before we close today's episode, and given that this is an ever-changing field of generative AI, I'm just very curious, Cecilia, how do you stay up to date with the latest trends? What can you share, tips and tricks with our audience if they want to do so too?
I completely agree with you. It needs effort to keep up with generative AI trend because it's moving incredibly fast. However, there are some channels and resources that you could leverage. First one is through AWS Invent, for example, webinars and AWS summits. AWS hosts global summits every year. We just had our summit at Los Angeles. Upcoming summit will be at New York and Washington, DC. In those summits, our customers shared their business challenging and how generative AI capability helping solving those business challenging in an innovative way. Second, exploring generative AI use case at AWS website to get inspiration on how business leverage generative AI to drive outcomes. Last but not least, AWS offer everyone a self-service machine learning training called Machine Learning University, which provide anybody, anywhere, at any time access to the same machine learning course used to train Amazon's own developers. In addition, with Machine Learning University, executives and business leaders can learn the generative AI strategy as well.
Thanks for the resources. I highly recommend checking Machine Learning University. There's a lot of really useful sections there. Padma, I'll turn it on to you if there are other resources you want to share with the audience and how do you keep up to date?
Yes, Tamara, thanks, Cecilia, for sharing the valuable resources. In addition to what Cecilia shared, some of the valuable resources are subscribe to the AWS news blogs to receive updates on new Gen AI services, research advancements, and customer stories. Follow specific AWS AI blogs like the Amazon AI blog or the Amazon AI for Business blog for in-depth articles on Gen AI applications and best practices. AWS events, as Cecilia called out, keep an eye out for upcoming AWS events focused on AI and Gen AI. These events offer keynote speakers, workshops, and breakout sessions led by AWS AI and Gen AI experts. You can find more information on upcoming events on the AWS events page. The couple other resources are the AWS documentation library. It provides comprehensive information on various AWS services, like those related to Gen AI, like Amazon SageMaker, Amazon Comprehend. Look for specific services and functionalities related to Gen AI, understand their capabilities and potential use cases. There's also a large AWS community forum, such as the AWS AI and Machine Learning Forum, that allows you to connect with other developers and businesses exploring Gen AI. This forum allows customers or developers to ask questions, share experiences, and stay updated on the latest trends and discussions within the AWS AI community. Last but not the least, social media. Follow AWS AI on Twitter and LinkedIn for ongoing updates on Gen AI advancements, relevant articles, and upcoming events. Consider using relevant hashtags like Gen AI, AWS AI to discover industry news and discussions.
Amazing list of resources. And with that, thank you both. We covered a lot of great information for our audience. I did want to take a moment to thank you, Padma. Thank you, Cecilia, for joining the show and sharing your experience with the audience. If there's any final remarks or thank you, Padma, Cecilia, the floor is yours.
Thanks for the opportunity.
As well.
Thank you for the opportunity as well for us to share what we learn in generative AI field and with financial services industry. I just want to emphasize 2 more points. Generative AI is not just about solving isolated use case. It's about recognizing patterns and building comprehensive solutions that drive transformation at a scale. We have seen many market leaders and large enterprise in fintech, data providers, payments, capital markets, insurance, have deployed their generative AI application to production. Gartner predicts 58% generative AI POC will move to production by end of this year. So 2023 was the year to test the water with generative AI. We believe 2024 is the year for many enterprises to deploy generative AI to production and start scaling.
Thank you, Cecilia, for those numbers. I'm seeing it with my own customers, how they are now going from POC into pre-prod and then production. So I believe we're going to continue to see that trend. Again, thank you both. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show. And for the audience, thank you for staying tuned. If you have any questions or want to connect with the SheBuilds North America team, you can do so via email at shebuildsna@amazon.com. Thank you very much and have a great day.